Document G from the same source as document F, so it is a secondary source. So we're going to take a look back here and see what has been learned from the crash and the Great Depression. The authors say, liberal margin requirements permitted the investor to enter the market on a shoestring. By buying on margin, see the note below, margin refers to buying stock on credit. So just like you buy things with a credit card today, you used to be able to buy stock on credit. It was possible in the late 1920s to pay as little as 10% down for a stock purchase, borrowing the rest of the stock from a seller or broker. The broker in turn borrowed from a friendly bank, and the bank holding the stock as collateral. This means you could pay $10 to get $100 worth of stock. That is buying on margin. And let's see what the authors have to say about why this may not be good. They said, buying on margin, the investor had to pay only a fraction of the quoted price of any particular security. The additional money needed to cover the purchase was supplied by the broker, who obtained these funds from a bank with which he had deposited his customer's stock as collateral. The margin buyer was particularly vulnerable to even a small decline in stock quotations. With any decrease in security values, he would have to pay the additional money to cover the corresponding decrease in his collateral. If he should be unable to supply the money, and usually he could not, the broker would be compelled to sell the stock to protect himself at the bank. Once this process had started, there was always the danger that it could not be stopped. Prices would be further depressed, and more margin buyers would be compelled to dump more stocks on the market. The circle would then be complete, for there was no apparent way of checking this downward spiral before it had been set into motion. So we see that line, this downward spiral again. So it's a ripple effect when some stock aren't able to be covered and they're withdrawn. Others feel less confident and they want to withdraw. So some could say that perhaps buying on margin is a cause of the Great Depression. Reason being that even though most banks were not hurt by margin losses, some investors, brokers, and banks were devastated, and the ripple effect of these margin producer losses caused some economic hardships. Because even when small banks lose, they lose the depositor's money. They lose the money that you had put in from your savings account. So now you don't trust banks, and so you won't go to the big bank. Or if the little banks had borrowed from the big bank and the little bank closes, they can no longer pay back the big bank, and the big bank can't give out money to the industry and the individuals that need it. So document G would make the argument for buying on margin as being a cause of the Great Depression.